Hello, everybody. Today's guest is John, the founder and CEO of Titan Medical Center. He helps people all over the country feel better, look better, and live longer with real medical treatments. Let's break down the science and the solutions. I'm excited to have you on, John.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on. I really appreciate it. Looking forward to it.
And for the listeners who may not be familiar with your line of work yet, can you give us a quick rundown of who you are and what you do?
Sure. My name's John Socorris. I'm the CEO and founder of Type Medical Center. We've been in business for going on 13 years now. We do all of preventative and anti-aging medicine. So everything that's going to make you look good, feel good, and perform better, from hormone replacement therapy, medical weight loss, vitamin amino acid injectable therapies, rejuvenation detox, libido enhancers, peptide therapies, blood work, and a lot more. So, wherever you're at in the country, like we can literally set you up for blood work. We can see our provider via telemedicine. Medications go directly to your doorstep or office if you're traveling, CEO, executive, whatever it may be. Or you can come down to our beautiful location. We have a multi-million-dollar state-of-the-art facility down here in Tampa, Florida, in Channelside. It's beautiful. So at that point, I'd love to show it off. But, you know, some people can't get down there, some people can. We're here to really help people improve their quality of life, longevity and quality of life. That's really the key, right? Because we're only here a short amount of time. So in that short amount of time that we're here, we want it to be the best time that we have, right? We want to feel the best we possibly can, live the best we possibly can, perform the best we possibly can. And that could be, from your job, your family life, performance in the bedroom, whatever it may be. So we're just here to help people, optimize their health. When I started this company in 2012, October, at that point, there was nobody hardly in this space. I just got into it because I started seeing the light, right? We were doing like spring training for like the Yankees, Red Sox. We were doing like physicals, EKGs. They were doing like blood work. So my question was because I'm a former athlete, was what's the difference between a regular person and an athlete? And not talking about cholesterol wise or liver and kidneys, or we're talking about hormone wise, right? Because even back then, the big thing was PEDs and baseball, and I'm a big baseball guy. So, how does that work? So we started doing blood tests and running these blood tests. And back then, nobody was running these kind of blood tests. Even if you go to, let's say, like a female goes to a gynecologist, right? And she says, hey, listen, I'm having low energy, a little depressed. And they're like, oh, then just, they're like, all right, here's the medication. They wouldn't even blood test. So at that point, like, why aren't you blood testing hormones? And, back then, general practitioners were looking at like, hey, listen, only steroid abusers do this. People get jacked and people that are going to die from strokes, heart attacks and such, which is totally false, right? So, I seen the light then because we started seeing these blood panels, and obviously athletes were a little bit higher, but a lot of the normal general population, males and females, were on the bottom of the end of the spectrum, or they were clinically deficient, and they were having all these negative symptoms that came along with it. Like I said, you could be, brain fog, you could be fatigued, you can't recover properly, you're getting fat deposits all over the body, you have no reason why. It could be for a guy, ED, or a girl losing all sexual desire. So there's a lot of things that go with it and what hormones do. So at that point, I knew that a lot of people didn't know about this. And, everybody was going to want to get into this. One, people are going to want to optimize their health. People want to take, especially now, I think after the virus and all that, people really want to take charge of their health. And they're questioning, the person that's telling them about their health right now, whether it's a general practitioner or it's a doctor that, they're like, hey, listen, what's going on here really? Because, I think it caused a lot of distrust what happened the last couple of years. But at that point, like, people were starting to realize this. And when I seen what we could do, I was like, man, this is gonna be a home run. Like, I was like, there's no stopping us. So at that point, my wife was a nurse for 12 years. She was a licensed practitioner nurse. She was running practices. She did everything from nephrology, pediatrics, plastic surgery, general practitioner. So at that point, like, I was putting everything all together. And she told me I was crazy too when I first told her what I was wanting to do. And after, I talked to her and kind of educated her, then she was like, all right, well, let's kind of go forward with this. It was tough. It was tough. We started with only $2,000 or our last tax return check. Got a 2-year-old son at home, so it's either do or die, right? So I just knew it, right? I was like, listen, this is going to work. This is going to blow up for sure. A million percent. We're going to help a lot of people doing this. So that's what we did. We continued on and we started the practice. We found, we were from Trinity originally, in Trinity, Florida, and that's like 45 minutes from Tampa. We found an ophthalmologist that had a backspace about 2,000 square foot that was free. The practice was ran by his brother. The brother worked out a deal we could, rent per day, per week, per month, and just go from there. We found a doctor. We worked with us per patient. So we used to cluster patients together, 6 or 7 at a time, boom, 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 get them through, and be able to use the office for a day and be able to see a good amount of patients, pay the doctor per patients, and kind of move on. And we just grew from there. Back then, there was no telemedicine, right? So everybody was flying in the airport and driving from the airport. Trinity was like 45 minutes, or they were coming from Tampa or surrounding areas. Probably about 6 or 7 months into it, that physician, his daughter was graduating from med school and she needed a residency to practice out of. So he's like, hey, listen, I'm sorry, but I got to get you out. You got about 30 days. So that moved us to Tampa. It was, it was a door closed. We're like, oh my God, what are we going to do? But the next door that opened was way better of a door. And we needed to go that route anyway. So I felt like God was pushing us. Like, I'm a big believer in God. So at that point, if you're not, I understand, but I am. So, I believe that, he pushed me in this direction, and that's the kind of way that it went. When we went there, started growing, man. And, it's gathered from there. Every year we've grown exponentially. Our mission was, basically like cutting edge therapies and improving the patient experience to the tight standard. That means no patient waits. Okay. So if you go into a general practitioner or any other specialty or whatever it may be medically, you're usually waiting in the lobby for about 30 minutes. And then they call you, they take you back to a room, you're waiting maybe 10 or 15 minutes in there. And then maybe a medical provider comes in there and they give you about 5 to 10 minutes tops. I mean, that's really good if you get 10. They answer the 1, 2 questions you came there for, and they're out the door. And then when we look at general practitioners and stuff like that, they're more Western medication. Western medicine is really like, hey, listen, if it's broke, we'll fix it. But we're not talking about being preventative about it, right? Making sure it doesn't break down per se. So that just opened up even more for us. So doing that for the patients, making sure they didn't wait, making sure that even when they call, text, email, they get a response right away. And if they need to get on a provider, they're on the phone with the provider right away. A lot of people would call their practitioner or the nursing station. They get the voicemail, they leave the voicemail. It's like, we'll get back to you within 24 hours. And you might get a call back and you might not. So it really depends on who the practitioner is in the office, how it's ran. But that's kind of how we got into it, and that's kind of how we started things. And it, like I said, it's just going from there. New therapies, obviously new teammates like Michael Hearn and all that coming aboard. So it's been an ever evolving thing, and it's been growing. So I'm blessed as far as that goes, and we're going to keep continually going that way.
No, John, I want to thank you off the bat for doing what you do and helping out so many people with their health. And
Right.
it's very important in today's day and age to do what you do. And I just want to say thank you for
Thank
what
you.
you do. And it's very difficult at times. And was it scary or exciting for you when you first started?
I think a little bit of both. Obviously, I mean, your back's against the wall. It's do or die. So it's like, this got to work. So I'm scared and nervous at the same point. We were kind of like pioneers to a degree where a lot of people were doing it. Back then it was really taboo. Everybody's talking about the DEA, you're going to get shut down, you're in trouble, you're going to get sued, people are going to die. So it was kind of scary. And like I said, it was exciting at the same point. Like we were, making a path where nobody's made a path. There was no playbook or outline for this kind of practice. It was something that we did. So, I mean, it's crazy to think about now, but at that point, I'm glad we did it for obviously, and I like what we do. I mean, it's priceless when like a patient says like, you changed my life for the better. Like, you totally changed my life. Like, that is like so gratifying. It's ridiculous. More gratifying than any money or anything you could possibly get. It's something that, somebody will always remember that you did for them, and you've changed their life literally. So they're going to live a better quality of life, and that's going to get paid forward. So, it's awesome with what we do. Even with the blood testing, that was why we have the most inexpensive blood testing in the country. So big blood testing was a very, very important thing for me. One, I know a lot of people in the fitness industry, and they might not be doing things like they should be, right? But at that point back then, I would say, listen, you guys should just at least get blood tested and see where everything's at, just so you're okay and everything's going to be okay moving forward. And at that point, if you go to a regular general practitioner, you ask them for some of these blood tests, they're probably not going to write them. The reason is because they have to produce an insurance code to get it covered, and they have to have some sort of reason of why they're going to do this sort of blood test on you. And then doctors didn't want to run it. Or if you told them, hey, listen, I was doing testosterone per se and it wasn't prescribed by a doctor, they're going to tell you get off the steroids and that's it. You'll be fine. So, for me, it was, having to the option, I guess, for competitors, fitness, or even everyday people that wanted to check. And it wasn't going to get reported back to the insurance company either. So even if there's something that comes back negative on that blood test, you at least know that knowledge before anything else. Whether it's life insurance or insurance companies, you'd always want to know that knowledge first before you go do it. And at that point, you can kind of see what's going on. So yeah, it's just it's crazy. The industry is everly evolving, and new things are coming out each day, which is phenomenal.
No, that's very good advice. And what, John, what does Titan mean to you and your team? That name, it feels so strong, and I bet there's a reason for it.
Yeah. So the funny story about Titan is that I'm Greek. So originally we were going to call the company Atlas Medical Group, and there's a ton of Atlas Medicals out there. So Atlas was a Titan. So that's where Titan came from. I'm Greek, so the blue and white are from the flag colors. It's blue and white, just like that. So that's kind of the meaning, And even when you go in the lobby, there's mythological characters. The Hippocratic is oaths there because that's from Greece, and all that. So it's kind of like the theme of the business, and it just so happens, Titan of an industry, right? It's like that is the biggest, best bad boy of the industry. So, yeah, it has a lot of meaning to me, and it resonates with a lot of people. So I'm very happy. Um, it's crazy. I was just like I said, it just came to me. It was like, all right, well, Atlas is taken so many times. I can't get this URL. I'm like, what can I get? And I started just going down. I'm like, man, I was like, Titan's open. I was like, this is awesome. So yeah, I went down that path like that.
No, that's powerful. And I want to go into the medical side a little bit.
Sure.
If we could, what are some of the signs that someone might have low testosterone?
Sure. So low testosterone, and this is for guys and girls because we both have the exact same hormones, just at different levels. So, energy could be one thing, fatigue could be another thing, brain fog could be another thing. Like I said, fat deposits, depression, sexual desire or ED for guys. So those are the main things that somebody would like, I'm down all the time, or I go to sleep, I get 10 hours of sleep, and I still wake up unrefreshed. There's something wrong, right? This is something that there's a reason why. It's not just, oh, well, I don't know. Maybe I just slept too much. Um, so those are the big symptoms. Like, guys back in the day where they would go into the doctor, like, doc, you know, things aren't working downstairs like they used to anymore. I've just been feeling a little bit down. I don't really have anything to feel down about. Everything is good, but just not feeling myself. And usually they would prescribe Viagra and antidepressant right along with that. So, you know, um, at that point, like, people should be able to have the options of some of these different things, or at least be able to see, like I said, through blood testing, and then be able to make an educated decision on what they want to do with their health.
Okay, that's very it's very interesting at the end of the day, and I just want to ask you this for the you said testosterone is for both men and women,
Sure.
and I just want to go a little bit deeper for the women's side. I mean, how do your therapies help women with their moods and energy and or sleep?
Sure, the exact same way it helps a guy. So when we talk about the different levels, like in a LabCorp reference range, a total testosterone for a male, 264 to 916, which is a huge range in itself. So if you come back at 265, you're normal, but you still have all the symptoms of low testosterone. An insurance company is not going to cover that because you're within normal limits. Um, Girls, the exact same way, but it's 0 to 40. So it's a lot less of a reference range. It's a lot less volume as far as that goes of how much testosterone they would need. So a guy, usually generally we have programs 160, 200, and 300 at the most per week. For a female, we're talking about maybe 2 to 4 milligrams tops per week. So at that point, it can bring back a lot of things for females: energy, sexual desire, your muscle tone, what I like to call it, but you can build lean mass with that, but not getting bulky or viralization, getting a deepened voice, or getting an enlarged clitoris or anything like that. That's for females that are getting overdosed on testosterone and having male reference range numbers per se. But females, if they do it correctly, they're getting monitored. At that point, they'll get all the great benefits, like a total turn back in the clock in their body. That's why I tell people, I'm like, listen, we're literally turning back the clock. Let's say you're 40, even you're 50, we're going to turn back the clock to when you were 21 and those numbers. So hopefully that will bring back some revitalization to you. And at that point, you will feel more energy. You'll have better recovery. So whatever you're trying to do, it's going to be better. You're going to have a better quality of life. And that's what it's all about.
That's a game changer. I bet a lot of
It
people struggle
is.
with that.
They do. They do. The number one thing is like energy or weight loss. Like that's what people usually complain about. And those two things can directly correlate to your hormones. And that's why the energy drink business is billions of dollars, right? Billions and billions of dollars. People drink those things like crazy. I would never drink one. But at that point, like they don't even know what's going on or haven't even done a blood test to see because maybe they're general practitioner, that's all they go to, and they're never going to run that. They're never just going to come out, hey, you know what? Let's run this preventative panel on you and say, hey, maybe there's something that's off and we can optimize it. Unless you really complain about it, they're really not going to check in anything. So, this is where, people, they sort us out, they see us, and at that point they want us to help them. So, that's where we come into play. And we have so many different other therapies that we offer, other than hormones that can improve people's performance or lifestyle or the way they look or even the way they feel or weight loss. Right. So, you've got guys that come to us that are maybe 18 years old. They're not going to get testosterone through us, right? Their testosterone level should be good. And I always tell people, even the younger guys, I'm like, listen, I'm like, if your testosterone is good, don't mess with it. Don't mess with SARMs. Don't mess with testosterone. Grow in your genetics. Use it as much as possible. Blood test and see. And listen, if there's a need there, then that's one thing. But if there's not a need, listen, start doing all the right things, right? So at that point, that's what I tell the younger guys. I'm like, listen, I'm like, you got to do this right. And even the girls, I'm like, listen, there's a way to do things properly, and you can get the results that you want to get.
Yeah, it's crazy how small changes can make a big difference just by even taking a blood test alone.
Sure, absolutely, 100%. I mean, those younger guys, they might get injectable vitamins and amino acids, so that's a performance enhancer for them. But there's no banned substance in there. These are all professional players. Or there might be somebody that's 27 years old or 30 years old per se. And at that point, they might be 300 pounds at 5'8". Okay. That's where like a GLP-1 or one of our weight loss programs really comes into play. They might need a blood test down the road, but some people, they don't even look at that. They're like, I just need to lose weight. And we're like, okay, we'll help you lose weight. And when we start getting to lose weight and people start seeing that change, it motivates them even more. It makes them feel better about themselves. And at that point down the road, they might want to do some other different goals. Hey, I've lost 100 pounds per se, right? Lost 100 pounds. Now I want to really focus on gaining the muscle. And then we can direct them into a program where they can gain the muscle. Or, if they want better mental clarity or whatever it may be, then we can go down that path too as well.
Yeah, John, what's different about your medical weight loss program like yours?
Sure. So we offer a wide range variety of different treatments or therapies that patients can take advantage of. I think the biggest thing that the difference with us would be our protocols. Maybe some of the therapies that we have are a little bit different than some people use. And like I said, protocols. I mean, there's plenty of GLP-1s out there from semaglutide, tirzepatide, retatrutide just came out. That's a big one. And then like another one we would have was like ECA Stack Plus, real ephedrine, caffeine, aspirin, B12, and chromium. I take one of those a day, gets me through the whole day. I'm not having jitters, no heart palpitations, blood pressure's still good. And I'm burning like I should be, like a furnace inside. So thermogenesis is happening too as well. So those are really good. We've got AOD 9604, which is a peptide therapy. It's a weight loss peptide therapy. Basically takes a sequence from growth hormone, just a weight loss sequence. You don't get any growth out of it or anything like that, or no IGF-1 spike, but just a weight loss effect, right? So hypolysis and hypogenesis. So being able to burn fat and being able to take in fat and not storing fat and using it as energy too as well. So that's another good one. I mean, we've got a lot. We've got a ton. I mean, there's so many that it's hard to talk about every single one of them.
So basically, people are making it harder than it needs to be, it sounds like.
Agreed. I think that people have the tools to be able to expedite some of the results they want, or they might be hitting a plateau or a brick wall per se, and they don't know where to go from there. And that's where we can kind of help them, direct them, and get them on the path to be able to reach those goals.
Now, John, with you being a professional like you are, why is it important to check hormone levels when losing weight?
Sure. So I think it's either losing weight, gaining weight, the exact same thing. I think it's essential to be able to check hormone levels and other things, right? So full thyroid panel, T3, T4, TSH. You want to look at those things. Your IGF-1 levels, your growth hormones. You want to look at those things too as well. We run a B12 panel right away on there, and there might be some other testing that we can add on to that too to really look at these things. But it's important to see. Listen, am I going in the right direction? Is everything working like it should? That's the main thing. And at point, like, no matter who you are, you're going to start losing testosterone at least at 1% at the age of 30. I've seen plenty of 20-year-olds that are below clinically deficient that have not touched any sort of steroid or done anything to their body, and they're asking why. So it really just depends on the person. But at that point, you get at least a blood test, I would say, every year, a full in-depth panel. Every 6 months after, I would say, 30 years old would probably be beneficial. But it's so important because those levels are going to go down. And it's better to know when they start going down so you don't really hit those negative symptoms and you can jump on it and be preventative and proactive. That's the real deal. Like being proactive about your health is the key, not waiting until it's all broken down on the side of the road and then trying to fix it.
Yeah, I can see why so many people get this wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's a lot, as far as that goes. I mean, I think more people are more educated than ever because of the internet and all the other things out there. But there's a lot of good information. There's a lot of bad information out there too, as well. So it's hard for people maybe to decipher what's good, what's bad. And, that's where I would say going with an experienced professional like us in Titan Medical Center that's been around for so long, stellar reputation, online, in person. And you have all the varieties of different treatments and therapies under one umbrella to be able to utilize one place, one stop shop, and be able to take, control your health in all these different ways.
Yeah, what's the most popular vitamin or IV therapy you offer?
So, vitamin and amino acid injectable therapies, we have our own signature ones. I would say probably the top one is Hercules Potion, and that's our own signature line that I developed. Comes from the pharmacy, has 9 different components in it. It says glutamine, arginine, ornithine, lysine, L-citrulline, proline, taurine, and NAC, and L-carnitine. So basically, what it does, it's great for recovery with glutamine. The arginine, L-citrulline are precursor to nitric oxide. They open blood vessels, create more blood flow, and create that pump. And they create a long-lasting pump. So if you take a pre-workout or one of those pump things, you might get a pump 15 minutes out of the gym, it's done. This is going to stay probably about 4 to 6 hours. So, and you can literally spot inject some of these different things. So if you want to do your chest, your arms, your triceps, you have a lagging body part, or maybe a body part that has atrophy because maybe, listen, you had some sort of accident, you had a cast on the arm, whatever it is, you can utilize this to pump it back up and be able to really get back to where you need to be. The ornithine in there is great for an anti-fatigue and amino acid. It's going to let you do more strenuous activity and workout, whatever the strenuous activity is, whether it's running, hiking, working out, playing basketball, whatever it is, it's going to help. NAC's in there, liver functions, it's going to help with liver functions. Lysine in there to help boost the immune system because any stress we put on there is going to help it. L-carnitine's in there, nervous system, blood flow, helping muscles as well. And then proline. It's a collagen-based amino acid. It's great for, lubricating the joints and other areas of the body too as well.
Now, I really got to ask you this. How do you help people feel younger?
So, it's really turning back the clock, right? Like, if you're 40 years old, your IGF-1 levels are probably in the tank or on the lower end. Your testosterone is probably on the lower end, or other hormones might be off or imbalanced. Same with females, the exact same thing. And really balancing those out, right? Like I said, you're turning back the clock in those levels. So maybe you're at, I don't know, 421 and you're 50 years old. So we're going to crank that back up to 900 and you're going to feel a world of difference. Like I said, more confidence, stronger. I mean, all the way around, it's going to be more beneficial for you.
Yeah, that's simple but effective.
Very simple, very easy. And that's the most important thing. Having somebody that's really going to monitor your program. There's a lot of places out there where you can just call in, get whatever you want, pick whatever you want. That's not how we do it here. We're checking up on patients every 28 days, no matter what. How are you feeling? How's it going? The therapy's working for you, hitting your goals, right? Maybe you might want to try this, or do you have any other things you want to try or you want to go forth? And then we service them like that. Or if they have a complaint, problem, question, positive feedback, they can always call or text and get an answer right then and there. So it's
Yeah,
really, really cool as far as it goes.
no, it's very cool. I mean, anyone can start doing that today.
Yes. Super simple and easy. Like they want to get set for a blood test. All they have to do is call or text the number. At that point, when they call or text the number, we would take their information, get the payment, send them over the prepaid black requisition slip, and then, the link of where they're supposed to go. And at that point, wait for them to go in. If they didn't want to do blood work, right? Because blood work is only necessary for hormone replacement therapy and our IGF-1 treatment. So if they did want to do a vitamin amino acid injectable therapy, they don't have to do blood work per se. They fill out the new patient paperwork. They can do that right online through our website. That gets submitted to us automatically. We call them, we set up their consultation. They see the provider, then they can order. So it's pretty simple and easy if you want to get any of the other products except for hormone replacement therapy and IGF-1. You just fill out the new patient paperwork, see the medical provider, and you're good to go. Usually those people, like I said, they'll start one place, they'll start feeling good, or maybe they're not, right? Maybe they call us and like, hey, like I'm still not feeling good. And we're like, you know what? Maybe we should do a blood test just to see what's going on. And they usually agree. They're like, yeah, you know what? That's a good idea. Let's see what's going on. That's always the best way. You're not guessing. You're not playing Frankenstein. You got the exact details down to the nitty gritty, and you can make an educated decision. That's the best way.
Yeah, it's wild how the body works when you actually understand it like a professional like you.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, it's awesome. I think a lot of people don't know their bodies, but there are some people that do. Like Mike, like I talk to Mike Ahern and I talk to him every day. He and him are on the same track. He eats the exact same. He knows exactly how his body works. He knows how to manipulate his body. If he needs to gain weight, he needs to shred down for a part, whatever it may be. So, a lot of people don't know that, but I think, once people do crack that code, then you're really into control, right? You're in control and you can be able to utilize the body to do amazing things. And that's what we do. We help people try to crack that code for themselves and they kind of learn, what works best for them because everybody's different, right? So, you don't want to approach everybody the exact same way.
Yeah, everyone is different. That's why you go to a professional just like you. And sometimes food alone can't fix the damage inside. Now,
Sure.
why do you believe detoxing is important even if you eat well?
Sure. So let's talk about that. So most people have fatty livers, right? And a fatty liver is where your ALT, AST enzymes, your liver enzymes are high. This is on a comprehensive metabolic panel that every general practitioner runs. We run our genetic death testing too as well. So when the general practitioner gets the blood work, you come in, he's like, well, you got a fatty liver. Oh, what do I do for that, doc? Well, you change your diet. All right. So stop eating fried food, start eating good foods, eat healthy fats, raise your good cholesterol, lower bad cholesterol, but that'll get the fatty liver down. So your liver is your filter to your body. If nobody knows that, like it filters everything, right? It converts into a lot of different things in there too as well. So you want your liver running optimal because it's literally filtering through. If it's fatty, it's not filtering or it's not working as good as it possibly can. So what do you do with us? So with Type Medical Center, we got a protocol with glutathione, which is a super antioxidant. It's great for immune system, oxidative stress, but it's great for liver functions. So if somebody said, oh, I have triple digits and they're freaking out, and a germ practitioner would freak out. I wouldn't freak out. I'm like, listen, let's put you on glutathione 2 weeks every day, guaranteed that's going to be trending down or it's going to be within normal reference range. And your body is going to be loving you for it and it's going to be working like it should. So I think that detox is key because even if you eat the best, you train the best, you sleep, you're still going out in the world. In the world, you can't really dictate what's what. So your environment, right? You don't know what kind of chemicals you're breathing in. Those chemicals could be endocrine disrupting chemicals. Boom, you're getting hit right there. Oxidative stress might rise. That's a problem. That can affect DNA. So that's two things. I mean, even in the clothing that we wear, right? Nike, Adidas, I mean, even the shirt I got on because it's dry wicking. All these are proven to have endocrine disrupting chemicals. And your body, your skin, it just doesn't work one way. It works both ways. So it absorbs and it perspirates, right? So at that point, like we need to look at some of these different things. So No matter if you eat the cleanest, you train the hardest, you sleep, you drink a lot of water, you still need some sort of detox in there. And glutathione, I would say, is going to be one of the best. And it can help in so many different ways. And at that point, you definitely feel better by taking glutathione for sure.
Yeah, I can see why so many people get this wrong.
Yeah. I mean, people, there's a lot of things out there and there's a lot of influencers out there and a lot of people push a lot of different things and people might follow those things and think that that's true. And that's their prerogative. But at that point, like, what's the facts? Like what's really going to work? What truly has a result? What's been around or what's coming forward that could possibly get you this result that the studies are there. It works the way it's supposed to. And I think that's the key.
And John, what's your take? How can better health improve someone's relationship? And can you dive into how it can help them in the bedroom?
Sure. So, better health. When you have better health, and this could be a couple or this could be an employee, right? I bring it because we have corporate wellness programs too. But the thing about it is that when you don't feel good, you're not in the best mood. And you usually don't give your best performance, right? My example would be because I'm pretty good health, but when I'm sick, right, I might be a little bit down from where I was at. So if I'm really low on energy, I don't feel good every single day that I'm waking up. That's probably going to show through in ways, that you might even not want to show through or don't think that you're doing it, but it is, right? And that's affecting the relationship. You might not have a bunch of energy. Like one big thing is that like guys that usually have low testosterone, and they have a family per se, they have a job. Even me, when I had it originally, you're still wired to like, listen, I need to take care of this responsibility. I have to do this. This is what I do. So I wake up in the morning. I'm not feeling good. That's fine. I need to go to work because I got to pay the bills. I go to work. I do the long day of work. I come home. I sit on the couch. I'm there for 20 minutes and then I pass out. Happens to a lot of guys, right? What happens after that? Kid's upset they don't get to see dad. You're upset you don't get to see the kid. Your wife's mad because listen, there ain't nothing going on in the bedroom, and then you ain't even there to talk to her or spend any time with her. Now she's upset. So at that point, like that's just one turnaround. If you have low testosterone, you go home, you still have energy to be able to do these things, and it improves the quality of life there. So that affects a relationship right then and there. Right. Even communication. Like if you're not feeling your best, or maybe you're down or depressed, you're not communicating properly with your partner, and they might assume different things from that. So that could affect the relationship in the bedroom. If things aren't working right, the bedroom relationship is going to be, or it's not going to be up to the par or standard what it used to be. And at that point, if everything was dialed in, you'd be satisfying your partner. And, guys, I think, at that point, like you satisfy your partner, they're going to be more happy, more apt to do a lot of other things and want to be around you a lot more, I guess, right? It goes back to, I guess, the guy sleeps with the girl. He does it so good. She's up the next morning, cooking breakfast, cleaning the house, right? Happy wife, happy life. That's how I like to say. And there's all different types of happiness, right? There's physical, emotional, sexual. So all these different things play a part. But that's where I think, if you're dialed in your hormones, you're going to be good to go in the bedroom. And at that point, it's going to show through and your partner should be very excited about that and happy. And usually what we would do we dial in, let's say a husband, and now the husband's dialed in and now the husband's raring to go all the time. The wife's like, whoa, all right, I want to get like this. And then they jump aboard on a program. And then when we're both optimized, and it's, just letting the floodgates open per se. So it can help a relationship tremendously. I mean, I would recommend everybody being able to get checked out, make sure they're all good. Or if they think that, there's a problem. And that could be, hey, listen, my husband's been off. We get these calls all the time. I want to send him up for a blood test to make sure everything's good. Right. And then we're like, all right, no problem. So it kind of shows it. And then like, oh, listen, low testosterone. And then that could change the way he feels, the way he acts. And at that point, the relationship might benefit from that. It usually does. Or,
That's huge. That's
yeah,
huge. I
it's
mean,
it's
most
big.
people wouldn't even realize that's the problem.
No, they don't look at that, and the arguments start, and then it kind of goes from there, and just kind of deteriorates as far as a relationship goes. Where this could hopefully bring things back together and make things ignite that spark back up, right, and go from there.
Now, how often do you recommend to get your blood work?
So I recommend it like every 6 months. Minimal year, right? If you're on a program with us for HRT, you're going to do it at least twice a year. Um, if there's something off, maybe 30 days to 90 days. Like, so if you look at your fasting sugar levels and that's high, you can run a hemoglobin A1C. That's a 3-month sugar average. You don't have to fast or do anything like that. That will give you the true number of your pre-diabetic, diabetes type 2, or so on. So, if the sugar levels are off per se, then you want to give it another 90 days and then retest those sugar levels to see where your average is at. If it's prostate per se, right? Let's say your prostate, your number is very high. This could be an area of concern for a male because prostate cancer is on the rise. So at that point, you want to, one, maybe recheck. You can recheck that right away, or I would give it a couple days in between, maybe a week. Recheck it, see if it comes back. If it still comes back high, then you need to go in the specialist urology. You get the finger check, make sure everything's okay in there, so you're good to go. Prostate issues can stem from prostate infection, and that could just be some medication you take, and it goes back to normal. So it's not always, if my prostate numbers are real high, I've got cancer. Now, that's the other thing with blood testing we've done. A lot of people sign up for blood tests. They want to get on a program with us, not even thinking anything's wrong. We do the initial blood test with them, and we see, hey, listen, there's a problem here. And we tell them, hey, listen, there's a problem. We want you to go to a specialist, get this checked out. I don't know how many guys we pre-diagnosed with prostate cancer in stage 1 just by doing the blood test, and them not even knowing because you had no symptoms at that point. And doctors are usually not running these blood tests on you all the time, and you're not usually going in to see a doctor and getting blood ran on you all the time. So that's the benefit of maybe running it at least every year. But like I said, if it's out of range of prostate per se, I would wait maybe a week, 2 weeks tops, retest. If that came back the same way or higher, I would definitely go to urology and get that checked out. But that's just an example, right?
No, that's a game changer, really. I mean, it's crazy how small changes like that can make such a big difference.
Sure, sure. I mean, especially with like, if you see something like that, like you're hitting the early stages, very easy to, eliminate after that. If you let it go on or per se it just goes on, it's going unchecked, it could be at stage 3, stage 4, and then it's a lot harder of a battle to get through for sure.
Now, what's one thing you wish more men knew about low energy?
That is stemming from some other issue, right? Something else is deficient. So, don't just think I need to keep throwing on more caffeine or more stimulants to get back up, right? I need to drink 2 pots of coffee or I don't know, 1,000 milligrams of caffeine per day. Like this is something like you should be able to find there. It's basically you're masking a problem. You're putting a bandage over a bleeding wound instead of going to the bleeding wound and fixing the bleeding wound and stitching it up and then be able to go forth. So that's the thing. Like low energy is stemming from somewhere else. It's not just, we all have low energy. Usually it's an issue with testosterone or hormone deficiency that's off. It could be even estrogen's real high, and then they feel fatigued and down and low energy. So, um, I would say for guys that have low energy or even girls, I would say, listen, get a blood test to see what's going on. Doesn't hurt you. It's only gonna help.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to just give it a try, and see what's happening. And from a professional like you, and can you dive into like we were talking before the show, how anyone can get their blood work from around the country, and you can help them with that?
Sure. So very simple and easy to get your blood work by Titan Medical Center. Like I said, all you have to do is call or text the number 727-389-3220. Say, listen, I want to get set with a blood test. We would get some information from you, like your full name, your email, your address, phone number, and we collect payment. For guys, it's usually $200. For anybody that calls from the show, it's $150 for guys, full in-depth panel. For the females, it's usually 300, and we knock it down to 225. There's more hormone testing on their panel, so that's why it's a little bit more expensive. Girls are a little bit harder to dial in than guys are when it comes to hormones, and they might act a little bit different as far as if they get any negative symptoms. Girls are more enough to be a little bit more upset if they're breaking out or something's off, if they gain a couple pounds. So we make sure that we dial them in properly and correctly the first time, so they're not really upset. They're like that or they're not having negative symptoms. So all you do is call or text. You get, it's the person on the phone. They're going to go over this information, grab this information from you. Once we have the information, we'll run the credit card, and then we send your prepaid lab requisition slip to your email address with a link to the nearest lab locations to you in your zip code. All you do is print that slip out, take it in with your identification to the lab. You don't have to get any more payment. No insurance cards needed. They're going to draw your labs. We're going to get those labs stat. That means expedited in 3 to 4 business days. At that point, we're going to give you a call, go over them briefly, and set you up for your consultation with the provider. After that, you can order your medications or therapies and get them delivered to your doorstep. Or you don't have to do anything except for just get your blood work done. Say, listen, I just want to check my blood work to see what's going on. Not a problem. You don't have to order any therapies. You don't have to do a consultation. I just want to help you out to see what's going on in your blood work. We'll send you a copy of it. You can have it. You can take it to wherever you want. And at that point, if you ever want to come back to us, you're more than welcome to.
That's very good advice. That can change someone's life. If they really took advantage of it, it's a game changer. Really, at the end of the day, and feeling good and looking good go hand in hand.
Sure. Absolutely. You feel good on the inside, it usually reflects on the outside, And that's the one thing. I've seen guys or girls look like $1,000,000, right? Look like a Ferrari on the outside. And on the inside, it's a Pinto engine. It's like $0, right? 2 cents. It's broken down, right? You never notice that, right? You see the outside, you're like, man, this person must be super healthy. Like, look at their body. And then you run a blood test, you're like, wow, this is not how I want to be on the inside, right? So, or there's a serious problem. I've seen a lot of guys renal failure and stuff like that, and they look like $1,000,000 on the outside, and they're in kidney failure on the inside, which is not cool.
No, that makes sense. Um, how can someone use therapy to improve their skin and hair and or their sleep?
All right, awesome. So, we've got our radiant package, which is actually the therapy of the week this week. So, GHKCU, it's a copper peptide. It's great for collagen. It's great for resurfacing, remodeling the skin. That's an awesome one. So, wrinkles, lines, all that good stuff. Produces more collagen, makes the skin better, glowing. That's a great one. We've got our hair health capsules, which I take. A lot of people take. They're not just good for hair; they're good for skin and nails too, as well. A lot of girls complain to me after they start taking them, like, "Why are you complaining to me?" Like, because I got to go to my nail tech 2 times more now because they're growing so fast. I'm like, either you do want them to grow or you don't want them to grow. Like, it's totally up to you, right? So that's another good one. Our Titan revitalizing hair foam has Lantropose, which is the cousin lattice, makes things thicker. Has minoxidil, helps things stay and grow. Along with finasteride, topically, it helps along with the growing process too. It's a foam you add in your hair every night. Injectable biotin. So we always hear about biotin. We always know that B7, that's what it is good for hair, skin, and nails, and also energy production. So not just orally, but injectable is way better. The highest absorbency you're going to get, fast transportation rate in the body, and we can get that too as well and be able to utilize that. You can utilize multiple different therapies together to get a more expedited, more robust result too. So if you're looking to really, rev things up, you can do that. Or if you just want to go on one, you can do that too as well. But those are great. We also have Aphrodite Serum, which has NAD, GHKCU, vitamin C, and a couple other different ingredients. It's a topical skincare for both males and females that you'll notice a difference applying it for the first time. Um, for sleep, we have our Titan Serenity. Titan Serenity is awesome. Magnesium, taurine, L-theanine. So there's no narcotics in there and there's no addictive products in there. It's great and natural for you. It's going to help you, fall asleep and stay asleep. So it relaxes you. Because there's usually two types of sleepers. There's usually a sleeper that can't go to sleep, or there's a sleeper that goes to sleep and wakes up every hour on the hour. So this helps both parties there as well, and natural, like I said. So that's the big thing. We don't use any narcotics for sleep agents or anything like that. I don't believe in them. And they're harmful, right? You're just going to use these things as a crutch, and nobody really wants to do that. You get down to the nitty gritty, and you don't get the proper sleep. When we talk about sleep, people are like, "Oh yeah, I get to sleep for 5 hours." I'm like, "All right, cool. Well, what does that sleep really break down to? Is it light sleep? Is it deep sleep? Or is that good REM sleep that you really want and you get all the benefits from sleep?" So, that's really a breakdown. So you really want to be, if you can monitor that through, I know Mike's got a bracelet. My bed does it. But if you don't want to monitor it, you want to make sure that, you're getting proper sleep and you're getting that good deep sleep and you're feeling refreshed when you wake up. I think that's the key. That's definitely one that, That's like a flag, right? Like a good flag. Like if you go to sleep and you stay asleep and you wake up the next day and you're refreshed, that's great sleep. If you wake up the next day and you've slept 8 hours and you don't feel refreshed, you didn't probably get any pretty good deep or REM sleep along with it. Pretty light.
And always going to a professional like you is so helpful. What's the most common problem people come to Titan for?
Generally, like I said, it's weight loss. Like that would be the number one thing I think. Obviously hormones, come to us, but or they might be a hormone patient and they come to us for weight loss. And then we get them on the phone and we start going down the path and we start asking the questions like, hey, how's your energy? How's this? How's that? And they start answering, not good, not good, not good. Then we might talk to them about hormones and put them down that path for blood work right away. But weight loss, I mean, we talk about almost like 70% overweight and obese as far as the population goes. That means if I get in a room, 7 out of 10 people are going to be overweight and obese. So obviously it's a big problem. I'm 44. I remember, when I was in school, like, middle school, whatever, there wasn't too many fat people around me, right? There was one or two, and that was really about it in the class. So, now it's a total flip where, you've got obese or overweight children, and even at that point, that makes up 70%. So 7 out of 10 kids in that room are on that path already. Where, in let's say in my generation, the kids, they grew up fine. When they got older, maybe they let themselves go. But they weren't like that when they were younger. So, and then what does that start the path on? Where a kid is already obese and overweight at 10 or 12 years old, and they continually go like that in their lifestyle. Now they're 30 years old. They've always been overweight or obese. Their health's probably not in good terms. I mean, and they really don't know what to do. And some of those kids I feel for because they're relying on the adult, on the parent, and the parent might not be the best example. They might not have the education on how to feed their kids. They might have grew up the exact same way. That's where the change has to start. It really has to start like that. So, and once we make that change and you keep that change, it will continue on. And that's why we'll get healthier and people will feel better all the way around from younger kids to adults.
That's such a good point. And writing down your goals, that's another big one that people should do. And I just want to I want to clear up the air for to help people make better choices. It's always easier. What's one myth about hormone therapy that you want to clear up?
Sure. So, this is a good one, I guess. So, testosterone is not going to kill you. It's not going to give you a cardiovascular event or heart attack or stroke unless you're unmonitored. That's the only caveat to that, right? Even just recently, the FDA took off the black box off of testosterone that said it's going to cause a cardiovascular event, a negative cardiovascular event, heart attack, stroke, and such. That's huge because that's the black box of death, right? That's the one on cigarettes says, listen, this is going to cause cancer. Like it's like serious. So them taking that off is big. When I started this, it was, cardiovascular problems, sugar problems, and so many different things out there. So all those myths have been debunked, right? There's clinical research behind all of this now. So that's the good part. So I would tell everybody like it's not, cheating, right? As long as you're not playing a professional sport, it's not cheating, right? You're just putting back in your body, you're replacing. It'd be like a cholesterol medication or a blood pressure medication. Like if your blood pressure is high and you can't get it down by changing diet, exercise, and such, they put you on some sort of blood pressure medication. Now that blood pressure medication keeps you in controlled levels. Exact same thing with testosterone. If you need it and it needs to be replaced, you're replacing that level that's gone. And that's it. So that's the big myth. Like it's not going to kill you as long as you're doing it properly, getting monitored by a physician, all that's good. It's only going to give you benefits to be on hormone replacement therapy. So that's the big one. I think that everybody thinks that testosterone is might just be for guys. It's a steroid that nobody takes. I tell people all the time, like, well, if testosterone is an anabolic steroid, then you already have anabolic steroids in your body because we produce testosterone. So at that point, like there should not be anybody that's scared about taking it. Um, and at that point, really just look into it. If you don't believe what I'm saying, please do the research yourself. I always tell people, like, even in the therapies, I'm like, do your research. I'm like, now there's going to be credible and disinformation out there. So make sure that you're really sifting through and looking at some of these sources too as well. So But yeah, I mean, it's out there, and that would be the biggest one I would say. Like, if I take testosterone, I'm going to turn into Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's what, a lot of guys think that. Like, I'm going to take testosterone, I'm going to get huge, and I tell them like, no, you will not get huge. You will not. One, your genetics ain't there. You're not training. You're not eating the calories. There's no way that that's going to happen. Same thing with girls. I'm like, you're not going to get big and bulky. You're not going to get the deep in voice, the clitoris enlargement, unless you're abusing or somebody's overdosing you on it. Then at that point, of course, that's what's going to happen. But if you do things right, you're going to get all the benefits with no negative side effects. And if you come to Titan, it's going to be done right. That's what I can say.
That's great insight, John. I appreciate you sharing that. And
Yeah.
what's your mission with Titan Medical Center long term?
Sure. My mission for Titan Medical Center is to optimize the country, optimize everybody's health. That would be the goal. Like literally, like we already service nationwide. We got patients in every state now, but like really opening up maybe the footprint, the blueprint of what we're gonna do, and like I said, optimizing, making people optimal. That's my biggest thing. Like if we can help everybody feel good, productivity is gonna be up. People are gonna feel better. People are gonna be probably nicer to each other, hopefully, and relationships are gonna benefit too. So I think everybody will benefit from what we're trying to do, one way or the other. I mean, even like just in the weight loss effect, if we could get that down, right, to 40, 50%, I could live with half and half. But at this point we're not there. So hopefully things are going to change. And the way the country is looking right now with the administration, I'm liking some of the changes with what's going to go on health wise. I mean, there's a lot of different things out there that are affecting us that it's been unchecked for so long. And finally, I think there's going to be somebody looking at it and saying, listen, this might not be the best possible way for us.
Like I was saying in the beginning of the podcast, thank you for doing what you're doing. I mean, that
Absolutely.
kind of vision can change healthcare.
Sure. It's definitely different. Like I said, I've had people come up to me like even doctors are, 50 years old. How did you think about this? Like, how did you even come up with this? Right. And I'm just like, man, I was into this. I kind of seen it and I don't know. It's really weird. I just knew it. I don't know. It's so crazy. And to come up with protocols and all that good stuff, man, it was just a total game changer.
And now this is the Friday mindset part of the show. I want to dig into your journey, your mindset, and the moments that shaped you. What is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Ever received. Wow. I guess it would be two pieces. One would be make sure whatever you do, you're doing 110%. You put 100%, 110% behind it. Man, if you like the job, don't like the job, or whatever you're doing, make sure you do it to your best abilities, right? They'll always make you shine. The other one will be make sure you're making, make sure you're being consistent. I think consistency is a game changer in anything that you do. Whether you're being consistent in working out and you want to get bigger, or you want to be more consistent in business and you're being consistent about what you're doing and working hard, doing those things. I think those are the two things: giving 110% and being consistent about doing it. A lot of people aren't consistent. They can start something, they do it for a little bit, and then they stop. They're not consistent. They're inconsistent. Even with people's medication regimens, it's so key to be consistent, because if you're consistent with the medication, you're dialed in with the medication, you're automatically going to be dialed in. Those levels are automatically going to be right. You start being inconsistent with medication, things are going to be off and fluctuating, and you're not going to be the best. So, yeah, that would be the two pieces. I mean, if I had to pick one, it'd probably be consistent. I mean, 110% too. I mean, that's and everything I do. That's definitely one for sure. Like, don't go anything and do it half-ass. Like, just don't. It's not worth it. It makes you look bad, right?
No, both of them are very powerful, and I resonate with both of them. What is one truth about life you wish more people understood?
Um, One thing about life, it's not fair. That's for sure. Don't think it owes you anything. It's not fair. You got to roll with the punches, and I guess find out what is your main priority in life, right? Some people it might be their job, some people might be their family, whatever it is. And for me, it would be the family. So at that point, it'd be like spending time or making sure that you're making those memories. So I tell Mike all the time, like, man, We're gonna go make some great memories, bro. Like that's what it's all about, right? Living life in that moment, making those great memories, so you can look back on those great memories. So that would be my advice as far as life. Like that's the biggest things.
And like I always say on the podcast, you only get so many summers in a lifetime. So go live them up to the fullest.
It's true. It's true. Even if I lived to 88 years old, that's only 88 summers. And we
Mm-hmm.
really start breaking down, you're like, damn. And I'm 44 now, so I'm like, man, I'm like, I've already went through 44 of those. And everything's like that. So I mean, don't take anything for granted. Don't take your time for granted. I guess that's the one thing too. Time is valuable in so many different ways, not just about the money portion, but your life. Like I said, short time you're here. So, make that time count. And you don't know how much time you got. If we all knew when we were going to die, it'd be a lot different. We have no idea. I mean, I could go out, get hit by a bus today, right? I'd be gone. I got a great 10-year plan, but that 10-year plan is not going to work because I'm not going to be here. So, I'm not going to say like, I definitely say live your life to the fullest. Don't live it recklessly. You know, if I had to give advice to younger guys and like that, I'm like, like I hate to say it, but trust the process, start really, um, because when you're younger, you have that Superman mentality. Nothing's going to hurt me. I'm not going to die. I mean, I think we've all had it. And at that point, like when you get a little bit older or something happens, you're like, damn, I'm a little vulnerable here. So, just be on top of it and, you know, live life to the fullest. Don't live it recklessly. Take care of yourself. If you're a lifter, um, like me or something like that, like, don't go crazy in the gym. Don't be egotistical on the weights. Don't wreck your shoulders, your joints, your knees. Do things the right way. It'll come, with time. So that's what I would say.
No, that's powerful. And when your time does come, it could be today, it could be next year, it could be 30 years from now, like you were saying. What kind of legacy do you want to leave?
I want to leave a legacy, obviously, my family, and then obviously, my business and what we do. I want to make a mark. I think everybody wants to make a mark in life, but a lot of people don't get a chance to do it. I think I'm in a role right now where, we can make that mark, just see how it goes. But if we could become, my whole goal has always been to be the go-to when you think of hormone replacement therapy, preventative and anti-aging health, medical weight loss, whatever it is. Like, oh, want the tight? Those are the guys, right? Like you're like, where do I go? Like those are the guys right there, because that would be huge for me. Like at that point, be able to leave that legacy behind and have something that's continuously helping people from there on. If I'm not here,
And thank you again for what you do. And the show is called Every Day is Friday. And Friday has a special energy, whether it's freedom, excitement, or just feeling of accomplishment after a long week. I want to hear from you. What does Friday mean to you?
Friday means the end of a strong week. The work doesn't stop, obviously, with me. I'm 24/7. But Friday means, listen, I mean, we have events and everything like that, but Friday to me would be an accomplishment of getting through that week. And then looking back at that week, and hopefully that week was a great week for us, right? In all different aspects, from business wise, personal wise, and the whole nine. Like we had some great wins this week, right? Looking back on that and like, yeah, that's what Friday means to me. Friday obviously means a little bit of freedom with the F. Hopefully you get to go out or do something, or you go home and you just sleep. That might be my Friday night. I've had such a long week. I'm like, I really don't care about going out. I'm just gonna throw the TV on, pass out to it. We come on Saturday and enjoy my day. So Friday is definitely freedom and accomplishments of what we've did that week.
I love that definition. And this is your chance to leave the listeners with something powerful. Is there anything else you want to share?
Um, yeah. Basically, guys, listen, don't delay on your health. It should be your number one investment to everything. Without your body, without your health, you literally have nothing. If you're sick in bed, you're not getting up and doing your favorite hobby. You're not going to your job. You're not with your wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, wherever it is. It's essential to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. A lot of people nowadays don't take care of themselves. Even the example of if you got pets, I have pets, I take them to the vet, they're sick, they got medication. A lot of people will give their pets their medication and won't even take their own medication. So Prioritize your health over everything. That's the number one thing. If I had to say that, that would be it. With your health, you have everything. The healthy man wants a million things. The sick man only wants one thing. So realize that. And if you do that, you'll live a lot longer life, a happier life, and a better overall quality of life. That's how I leave it.
And John, all your information will be down in the description down below. But I want to make sure that people know where to find you. Where
Sure.
can the people follow and support your work?
Sure. So they can go to Instagram at Type Medical, Type Medical Center on Facebook, TikTok at Type Medical. Obviously, go to the website, typemedicalcenter.com. From there, you can read about all our different therapies that are on there. You can fill out the contact us form. You can call us directly or text us from there too as well. You can fill out the new patient paperwork. It's super simple and easy. So those are spots. YouTube, type in Type Medical Center. You can see all our great videos of all our different content, instruction videos, tutorial videos, maybe on injections or medications that you may be wondering about. So those are our sources where.
And I know the listeners got a lot of value out of this. It's been an awesome conversation. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for sharing your stories and experiences.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me on.
And to the listeners, stay tuned for more amazing stories on Every Day is Friday Podcast 365. If you enjoyed this, make sure to follow, share, and keep Every Day is Friday mindset going. Until next time, stay inspired and make every day feel like Friday. Until next time, everybody.
Every